Hello and welcome to another teardown video. We have a Dell 7050. As you can see in the front, we have a DVD drive, two USB 2 ports, one USB 3 port, and one USB-C port, along with a headphone and mic combo jack, along with the power button. Alright, in order to open the machine, you want to hold down on this tab right here. There's a little triangle symbol pointing down, so you can see right there. So you want to hold down on this. Should hear a little click. And then see this tab. You want to pull it back. Lift up gently. And then put this off to the side. Alright, now that you're on the inside, there is a 3.5 hard drive bay, along with a CD drive. It's capable of reads and writes. Here's the power supply unit, 180 watts by default, 80 plus power standard. And here's the CPU fan. The CPU itself is a i7 6700 series. It's pretty old, but gets the job done. Now, in order to continue with this, you're going to need to take off this front panel. As you can see, there is 1, 2, 3 plastic tabs. You're going to want to unhook them just like this. And be careful because they can break easily. That sound means that you've opened it. There you go. Place this off to the side. Alright, now in order to take out the hard drive and CD drive, you're going to pull on this little tab. Once you hear the click, it means you're ready to start pulling. Lift up gently, because there's wires at the bottom. As you can see, here's our SATA data cable and our SATA power cable. On the power cable, there's a little bit of a lever you can push on. Just like that. SATA cable, nothing to worry about, just pull it out. So there's your hard drive and CD drive. Same kind of CD drive you find inside of a laptop. It's capable of reads and writes. Can't do Blu-ray though. Alright, let's take this out too. This is for the hard drive, but don't use one of those, so don't really need it. Alright, now on the inside of the machine, underneath that, you have your 32 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, along with your 512 gigabyte SSD. Now, in order to remove this, there's no screw. It's just, like with a lot of these Dell machines, there's a blue tab. Just want to get a little closer to the camera. See a little blue tab right there? So, you're going to pull on that. Just like this. And it should pop up. There you go. Now, to put it back in, you're going to put it in at an angle. And just slowly push down. Get the blue tab out of the way. Make sure that notch in the back lines up with the hole. Should hear a click. There you go. So you've now installed it. And as for the RAM, it's like with all other machines. You want to put one finger here and one finger here and apply equal pressure. There you go. And then just gently pull up. There's your RAM. This particular stick is an 8 gig stick of DDR3. That is a total of 32. Now to put it back, you want to line the notches up. There's a notch right there. Now make sure when you're pushing it down, you're applying equal pressure to both sides. Should hear a click and then just, don't mess with it. And as for the rest of the system, you have 3 SATA ports right here. 1, 2, 3. And here is the Wi-Fi card. It's on like a little adapter. Just see if you can push that up so you can see it. So yeah, there it is right there. This could do Wi-Fi what is it, 5 gigahertz and a 2.5 gigahertz. Here's your X16 slot. You can fit a low profile graphics card in there, or like a network card or USB card. I see people put cellular modems in there. You can do whatever you want, really. Just it needs to be low profile, and it can't require any sort of external power. It has to be the 70 watts that comes out of the port. That is one challenge with these kinds of units. Now, right here, I'm going to spin this thing around. You can see a card reader, and here is the power button. That's where it plugs in right there. Right here you have a speaker. It's useful for bios beep, so it can actually play audio too. Doesn't sound that bad. Plugs in right here. Here's some external power for the Wi-Fi card. Here is the CPU fan. That's where it plugs into the motherboard right there. And this is the intrusion switch. So this tells the computer how many times I've opened the case. I just told it I opened the case a lot. Alright, and then next, you have the CMOS battery. So that's where that is. It's relatively easy to get to. I've seen some models where they stick it half under the cooler. It's insanely annoying. But, you know, this one's easy to get to. Here's some other ports. Those are like external power kind of ports. Not for a graphics card though, so you definitely can't put that in there. Here's the motherboard port from the power supply. And then here's the CPU port. Now this is a standard CPU port, to my knowledge, but the motherboard port is proprietary. Yeah, this is a CPU port. But, so yeah, if you're trying to get a different power supply, you will need to buy an adapter. A lot of these systems are like this, they're proprietary. I'm not going to do it right now, for the sake of time, but if you did need to remove the power supply, first you would undo the screws. And then there is a blue thing that says push. I don't know if you can get that on camera, see if I can lift the system up. Yeah, there it is. It's that right there. So you push it down, you just pop the power supply out like that. It's pretty convenient. Make sure to unplug all the cables first. So right now we're about to put it back together. Alright, first we're going to start by putting this back. This is the CD drive and hard drive holder. So first we're going to put the cords back in. I have to start with the SATA. Then the SATA power. Once you have this plugged in, you want to tuck the wiring out of the way because it will get in the way. Alright. Alright, once you have the cords plugged in, see these teeth? You're going to make sure they go in the back, right here, through those little holes, and then just push it down. Now make sure it lines with the chassis, like this. And the wires are out of the way. Now that should just click. If it doesn't, you have to push really hard. That means either the wires are in the way or the chassis is just not aligned. So definitely do that. Don't push too hard or you'll break the plastic. Let me grab the panel. Or put the rest of it back together. Then you put this on. Now, on the bottom part, there's 3 little stubby hooks right there. So you're going to want to line that up with these holes. Camera's kind of close, but yeah, see these? This one, and this one. You want to hook those on, and then just pop it in. Should hear a click. Well, series of clicks. Just like that. And if you did it correctly, this should be seamless in the back. As you can see, it's not going over or under, well, under overbite. It's just straight. I'm going to leave this cable out because I don't really need it, but ideally you would put it back and plug it into the hard drive. Then here's the side panel. Now, double check to make sure this is straight, because if it isn't, then the side panel won't fit and you'll be stuck wondering why it's not fitting. So you're going to gently place this on right about here. Make sure that it conforms to the rest of the case. There you go. Once it's at this level, you can just... Alright, look at that. All nice, and put that together. Alright, for our next portion of the video, we're going to do an overview of ports and just, you know, specs in general. So for the back ports, we have AC for your power supply, PCIe 16 for your cards, whether it's a low profile GPU or networking. Next up, you have the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth coaxial ports, 2 USB 2 ports, 4 USB 3 ports, and an Ethernet port. Then next up, you have PS2 connectors for your mouse and keyboard. And then after that, you have a bit more of a unique port, the RJ11 serial port. This can be useful for scanners or any other sort of like really legacy equipment that your computer may need to interact with. It's not a port you see a lot anymore, but there's still a couple different uses for it. Now, it is different from the RJ45 serial port, so just keep that in mind. Next up, you have 2 display ports, 1 HDMI port, and then the aux port for speakers and, you know, that kind of stuff.